Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the fourth episode of the Road to Reopening FLB Schools. Again, my name is Rick Emmerich, Superintendent of the Fort LaBeouf School District, and I am joined, as always, by Dr. Sean Wolfram, our Assistant Superintendent. Today, we have four topics to cover as we gear up to welcome our students back to a new school year. The newly released guidance from the Pennsylvania Department of Education and the Pennsylvania Department of Health. We hope to discuss the reopening date of the 2020-21 school year, provide a few updates related to class sizes and facial coverings, and close out by emphasizing the importance of the at-home screening before making a decision to send our children to school. As our community may have heard, just yesterday, the Pennsylvania Department of Education and the Pennsylvania Department of Health released a guidance document titled Determining Instructional Models During the COVID-19 Pandemic. In summation, this guidance document includes various recommendations for reopening or closing schools based on two standard public health metrics: COVID-19 incident rate and the percent positivity of diagnostic testing. Within this guidance, you will note that Erie County is rated as moderate in terms of community spread of COVID-19, and a blended or hybrid or a full-time online instructional model is recommended. Please note, at this time, we are not anticipating that the moderate designation will impact our current reopening plan here at FLB. As you may be aware, our district's reopening plan is and has been identified as a blended model, as we have reduced in-person instruction or daily attendance at each of our school buildings by offering two pathways for families to choose: brick and mortar or the newly developed FLB Cyber Academy. Please keep in mind, though, that the new guidance does indicate that our county has been seeing an increase in two of the categories I mentioned earlier: COVID-19 incident rate and the percent positivity of diagnostic testing. Again, this data puts our district in the moderate range, but it's important for all of us to understand that it is possible that over the course of the coming weeks, our county could find itself in the category known as substantial, which PDE and the Department of Health both recommend that all of our school districts deliver fully online instruction. Therefore, in an effort to evaluate our county's status in relationship to this new guidance, our administration team closely examined and is now prepared to formally announce to our community that our district will be delaying the start of the 2020-21 school year from August 25th to September 9th. As you may know, many districts around the region have made this shift for various reasons. For us here at FLB, the decision for this delay was hinged mainly upon a few key considerations. First, it is extremely important for our district to conduct a close review and evaluation of where our county and our community stands in terms of the newly released public health metrics. Secondly, a delayed start time allows for additional as well as outstanding personal protective equipment and supplies to arrive here at the district. It is critical that these supplies are in hand and we are fully able to carry out the many mitigation strategies we have in place. Finally, a September 9th date affords our team here at the district more of an opportunity to prepare for the arrival of our children by having our staff take additional time reviewing and practicing the many safety procedures we have in place. After all, like many of our families, we want our children back here in school, but it is critical that each and every safety precaution is in place and all of our staff is fully trained and comfortable with our implementation protocols. Again, please note and mark your calendars that the Fort LaBeouf School District has delayed its starting date from August 25th to September 9th. Please be aware that the updated calendar is now available on our website, and you'll find it attached to the invitation for our session today. And now for information on facial coverings and an update on our class sizes, Dr. Wolfram.
Thank you, Mr. Emmerich. Now that we've been able to bring some clarity to student enrollment, we want to give you an updated related to class sizes and where masking will be required. Please remember this information is as of today and could change depending upon enrollments. Right now at Robinson Elementary, all classes are able to be physically distanced and will not require masks. But please be aware that 5th grade third grade, and first grade are very close to that limit, which would require masking. At Waterford Elementary, all classes are able to be physically distanced. Please be aware that fifth grade class has been moved to larger areas such as the LGI, the library, and the computer lab. Also, please be aware that both second and third grade at Waterford are very close to the limit, which would require masking. At Mill Village, kindergarten, first grade, and fifth grade, they're looking good. Please be aware that fifth grade has been moved to the cafeteria to allow for physical distancing. Second, third, and fourth grade will require masks as of today, but Mr. Vaughn is working hard to examine all the available spaces in his building to try and eliminate that need. At the middle school, grades 6 and 8 are able to physically distance in several classes, but masking will be required in some. In grade 7, which is one of our largest groups in the district, masking will be required in the majority of their classes. At the high school, the same holds true. Most classes will be required to wear masks during instruction. Again, we're planning to conduct masking breaks throughout the day, and the principals are working hard again to examine every available space to try and minimize the required mask wearing for the students. Some families, we understand, may object to the wearing of masks. Please be aware, and we want to make sure that you know that you have the option to join our Fort LaBeouf Cyber Academy. Also remember that documentation will be needed if your child has a condition which excuses them from the wearing of a mask when not physically distanced. Next is the home health screenings. We've talked about this, I think, at every session we've had, and we again want to continue to emphasize the importance of our families taking the time each day to use that home health screening checklist to go through with each of your children. And if they are not feeling well or have that temperature of 100.4 or higher, to please keep them at home. Our teachers are aware that we're going to have a higher absentee rate than we would typically have, and that's okay. They're going to be flexible, and they're going to work with you and your students to allow them time to make up any work which they might miss. So again, please take the time, go through the checklist, and if your children are not feeling well, please keep them at home. We need to work together as a community to keep all of our kids healthy and safe. Next, we've been receiving a number of phone calls from families wishing to change the choice for their students' pathway, whether that be to move from brick and mortar to cyber or from cyber to brick and mortar. As you can imagine, when that happens, it creates a lot of work on our end to adjust schedules, gather equipment, books, all of those sorts of things. So we're asking, please cooperate and make your final decision by the end of this week, which is August 14th, and call your buildings if you have changed your mind so that they can adjust appropriately. And that will allow us enough time to plan so that we have everything ready for all of the kids when they return. Lastly, be on the lookout for a survey dealing with internet access. That should be going out tomorrow or the next day at the latest. And we need to know whether your household has good internet access, especially for our kids who are currently enrolled in the FLB Cyber Academy. Because if you don't have good internet access, we want to be sure to get you a mobile hotspot. But we also want to know for the kids that are enrolled in the brick and mortar pathway, whether you have good internet access also, in case we are ever shut down and need to go fully online instruction for all students. We'll have that information ahead of time so we can quickly move and get those hotspots out to all families who might need them. Now to Mr. Emmerich.
Thank you, Dr. Wolfram. As we wrap up today's session, we want our families to know that the return to school this year will look and feel differently for everyone, our families and staff alike. Nevertheless, our educational mission and commitment to you and our children remains the same. We will make every effort to create a safe environment, work to ensure our families feel connected, and implement the strategies necessary for your children to enjoy success here at Fort LaBeouf, regardless if that choice is to come here brick and mortar or to take advantage of our FLB Cyber Academy. Thank you and enjoy your evening.